Shalom. I just wanted to come on here and make a quick update. I'm really not good at this whole video speaking thing, but I thought I would go ahead and just make a quick update and just talk about some of the things that I've been going through and just how my journey's been for this past year and a half. So, um, this past year and a half has definitely been some trial and error. I've definitely learned a lot. There's still so much more to learn and so much more understanding to get, but I'm definitely come. I'm at a different place than I was before, but I still have so much more to learn. There's so much more for me to still understand and gain throughout this walk, but I've definitely learned so much. Some of the things that I've been working on is taking care of myself, my household. That's what I've really been doing this past year and a half is taking care of my household, taking care of my children, my Ish or my husband. Those are the things that have been my main focus for the past year and a half. Um, because when I initially got into this walk, I was always wondering, what am I supposed to be doing? How does the Most High want me to serve Him? I was just looking out into the world, trying to figure out where my place is and where I fit. And as I continued to read and continue to just understand Scripture, I realized, okay, what I'm supposed to be doing is right here in my face. I'm supposed to be taking care of my children, taking care of my husband, and taking care of my house right now. And that's the most important thing. So all of my time and energy has been focused on my children, guiding them, leading them in the right direction, and making sure that they're doing what the Most High has planned. Not raising them as the world would want us to raise them, not raising them as our parents want us or anybody else, but raising them in the way of the Most High. And of course, that comes with struggle, and of course, that comes with learning and growing, and that comes with its own ups and downs. But the priority right now is the children and making sure that they're being raised up in the way that they should go. And like I said, it's not always easy understanding that because you have to get the worldly influence out of your mind and focus on what the Most High has asked us to do. And sometimes that's hard to completely eliminate the world because you don't even realize sometimes that you're still can be influenced by the world and some of the things that you say and do. So you're trying to eliminate that out of your system while teaching your children. So that is also that's been something that I've been constantly working on, constantly trying to grow and understand and learn. It's definitely a process, but I enjoy teaching my children, and I understand the responsibility that comes with that. It is a huge responsibility, but it's one that I know that it's very important, and the Most High is expecting us to do, regardless if you know we fully understand it or not. We are to take care of our children and to make sure that they're being raised in the way that they should. And knowing how I was raised, and knowing not that my parents just did a horrible job, but we weren't raised in the truth. And obviously there's reasons for that, but I'm I'm so blessed to be able to raise my children in the truth. I tell my children all the time that you are blessed to have this truth and have this word because as when we were children, we didn't have this word. You know more than I ever did, as at your age. You know more than some adults know. Because some adults are right now are clueless, have no idea what's going on in the world around them. But you know so much, and you're able to go out and teach them, which they have done. My daughter has, my nieces have gone out and been able to give the word to someone else. So I think that's a blessing, and that's what I'm focused on, continuing to make sure that my children are being raised in a way that they should go, which is very, very difficult. It's not that easy, because we don't have an example that we can look back at our childhood and say, okay, well, I remember when mama did this. Of course, there are some things that you can look back at, but um, again, there's a lot that you can't. So this is a new process, and it's a learning process for not only the children, but for yourself as well. So um, I've been working on a lot with that and working on trying to be the best wife that I can be. Like I said, when you're in the world views one thing. It might not seem like a big deal in the world, but when you're in the word and you know what the Most High is expecting out of you, those things, certain things don't fly. So when I look at the past a lot of times, I'm like, I don't want to be that woman. I don't want to be that person. I want to make sure that I'm doing exactly what the Most High needs me to do, and not getting distracted by foolishness around me. So, or being influenced by what the world wants out of me. So, um, I'm I'm learning more how to be a better wife, and I still have so much more to learn on how to be, a complete, just to be the best wife that I know how to be. But I know where I need to be. I have the examples of what I need to be. So I'm slowly getting there. So, um, um, when, when I, when when you first get into the walk, a lot of things are easy to stop doing. You can easily stop eating pork or stop, celebrating pagan days. Those things are simple. Those things they don't take much to do. You just stop doing them. But when it comes to actually fixing things within yourself, fixing your inward man, those are things that take time, because a lot of things you do out of without even thinking about it. You say and do things that you don't think twice about. You just realize that, it just comes secondhand and second nature to you. It's just like, okay, it's things that you've adopted and things that have influenced you throughout your life that you automatically start to say and do. And it takes time for that to be pushed out of your system. What the world has put into you, it takes time for that to be purged out. It takes a lot of time, dedication, um, prayer, studying. It takes time for you to get to wash that out of your system. It takes patience because a lot of times, we're not thinking before we speak. Sometimes if we act too, if we act out on our flesh too often, then it gets us in a world of trouble. So it takes time to not act out on your flesh, act out on your emotions, and be slow to speak. And those things do take time. So I'm working on that and working on fixing my inward person before I'm out here trying to save the whole world, which of course you still get the word, but I'm still trying to make sure that I have myself taken care of and making sure that I'm being an example and that I am being a light. Because if I'm saying one thing and not doing one thing, which I'm not saying that I do, but the thing is that sometimes that can happen. Sometimes that you fall victim to your flesh, and that's what I'm trying to get out of doing is falling victim to your flesh in all situations. So, um, you know, when it comes to that, that just takes time. And, I'm blessed to have brothers and sisters that I'm able to look at and to grow from and to learn from because when you have sisters that you can look at, I'm blessed to have a sister that I know I can talk to and get encouraging words from that can, whenever I'm going through something that they can, um, lift me back up or give me correction or, we can learn from each other, get correction from each other. And correction doesn't always have to be someone saying you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, or you need to fix this. Correction comes from them being a light to you, because the word says that we are supposed to be a light to the world, but we can also be a light to each other. If I see a sister and she's doing what the word is telling her to do, and she's living out the commandments, and she's able to be an example and a light to me, then I can see where I err in, and I can look and say, well, I see what I've been doing wrong, or I see where I could possibly fix this or that. So that's what found you. So that's where I love that I'm able to look at a sister and I can see what I need to fix about myself, where I err in, and how to take care of those situations. So, um, if we're being a light to each other, if we're making sure that we are walking in the commandments and representing the Most High in the Word in the way that we're supposed to, then we can be a light to each other, and we can be that correction towards each other, and without having to actually verbally say things all the time. Of course you need that verbal correction, but you can also, like I said, be a light just by the way that you act, or the way that you're carrying yourself, the way that you handle certain situations. People can also learn from that and get correction that way as well. So, um, it's a lot to be learned. It's a lot of growth that has happened, but there's so much more that needs to be done. So much more understanding. So much that I have. I still have to go. But you learn through trial and error. As far as getting the word out there, I do still, I don't just, close my mouth if somebody's around. I do try to give the word. I give the words to those who have an ear to hear, but I used to be like, want to be like in people's face with it, or get real upset or emotional when people don't want to hear it or understand it. But now I've learned to be a little bit more aware of the situation and come off a bit different now. I'm definitely learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot from my husband because he's changed a lot in the way that he delivers his messages, and I'm learning on how I can uh, take how I can follow by his examples, of how he just handles the situation. A lot of times I can see his growth, and by his growth it's helping me grow, and I love the way that he handles a lot of situations now, and I can definitely see a change in that. But um so that's what I'm working on too, is not getting so upset when somebody doesn't understand the truth. When you bring them that word and you see and the truth is there, you want to give it to them and they just reject it when it's obviously there, written plain as day. You know what I mean? But um it is a way to handle the situation. And now I mean, because I have zero patience. I have you know this much patience for foolishness. And I just don't even like to get into certain conversations, because I already know I can get a little bit upset if somebody's just completely rejecting scripture when it's right there, and are confident in their ignorance. but 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 I'm just slowly learning how to deal with that. And people will separate themselves when you give people that word. They will separate themselves. And I mean, but that's fine, because the scripture says, "Be ye separate and be ye set apart." So that's the way that we're supposed to be anyway. Once you give somebody the word once, twice, three times, and they just continue to be stuck in their ignorance or stuck in the world, then you've done what all you can do. And people already know when they see you what you're going to be talking about or what you represent. So a lot of times they just don't want to hear it, don't want to, because they know it's the truth. A lot of times they know it's the truth, so they don't want to even be put in that position to hear that word, because they know that they can feel that there's something that they need to change, and they don't want to feel that way. So but I still try to give the word if the opportunity presents itself. But like I said, I'm focused a lot on my children, and trying to make sure that my house is being run correctly. And if you come to my house, you are going to hear the word though, and that's just the way it is. But um um, I just thank the Most High for allowing us to have an opportunity to speak to other brothers and sisters who are strong in the Word, and being able to fellowship with them. And last year for Passover, we were looking, searching to find places or people to fellowship with, and now we actually had people to come and fellowship with, and we were able to just learn so much. And it's a blessing that you can have brothers and sisters in this walk that are um, beautiful people, strong in the word, and you can truly learn from. So I just wanted to come up here and make a quick update, and just talk about what's been going on, and where I am now. And I just pray that you all are doing well, and that you all are still, firm in the word, and still, giving the word to those who have an ear to hear. So, shalom. Okay, I forgot to mention that I recently had a son. His name is Yahuda. He's 3 months old. And of course, that has been a huge part of my life for this past year. The whole pregnancy was completely different. The delivery and even the past 3 months has been completely different from the experience that I've had with my previous children. Um, it's completely different. Things are definitely different than what they were when I had my other children. Of course, this child is breastfed, no vaccines. Delivery was completely different, and beautiful, and totally in our control. And I really love that. And I wanted to just come on here and mention that really quick because I forgot to mention that. So, shalom.